and slow.
We're
Hi.
we're live. We are live, and the dogs are excited. They know it.
The dogs are
Welcome
always excited.
to VO Journey Academy Live. My name is Anthony,
I'm Gabby.
and we are voice actors, and we are
Mhm.
thrilled to be coming to you today. It is Monday, February 9th. And as always, this is brought to you by VO Journey Academy.
Mhm.
Hi, Gabby. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little slow. I stayed up late watching the
Yeah.
game, so a
Yes,
little
yes,
late for me
yes.
for a school night, but
Yes.
but
Well,
all in
it's
all,
so interesting. So I remember last week, right? We were talking about how ads, right, during the Super
mhm.
Bowl kind of
Mhm.
give you an idea of maybe how things are trending. So in
Yeah,
that
for sure.
sense, what did you pick up on?
So it's interesting because I was reading about it this morning too, and there's a lot of discussion about all of the AI ads, right? Because there were so many.
Oh my goodness.
And the interesting thing is that a lot of the AI companies, what they're trying to do, of course, is capitalize on the human component of AI and its benefits to us, and not, again, taking away, but rather enhancing. And, the general consensus, however, is that the majority of people are super, super skeptical about AI and don't have a very good feeling about it,
Okay. Have
which
you
is
seen this?
ironic
Yes.
because
Can
it's
you see this?
being crammed down our throats,
No, totally. Did you see the new thing they're doing a lot now? And they did it in the Super Bowl with the ads. So basically, okay, I am like a total geek out Jurassic Park, Jurassic
Yeah, the
World. I love that.
CGI.
And what is up with it is so grossly evident
The
that
age
that they
regression.
were
Mhm.
de-aging the
Yeah,
people with AI.
yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. I saw an ad this morning of them, the real them, doing this funny little thing where he's at the Goldblum's or whatever, he's at
Mhm.
the piano,
Yep.
and then they're sitting over there, and then the other guy is like, "What song is that?" And she's like, "It's the score from Jurassic Park, man." And it was the real them. It wasn't
Yeah.
any AI stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
that was great. That
Yeah.
was hilarious. Why didn't you
Yeah.
just use that instead of the AI
It
generated
it's
stuff?
a weird moment of show off. The tech companies
Ugh,
are basically trying to go, "Look what we can do." But the
ugh.
problem is, first of all, it looks disturbing,
Yeah.
right? For anybody, and there were so many ads that featured CGI applications that were just terrible. And that's the thing I don't think they realize, is that in 10 or 15 years from now, it's not going to be looked back on as like, "Oh, it was the pioneer of
Yeah.
No, it's going to be looked back on like, "Dear God, this wasn't ready and it's gross looking."
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't know, but yes, there was a
Yeah, yeah,
ton
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
There almost every ad featured
Mhm.
some kind of crazy CGI component
Mhm.
that, let's be honest, right, is just another name for AI.
Mhm.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, totally crazy. So, um,
So from a voiceover standpoint, what did you
yeah,
see?
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, I mean, so many wild things, but I do love, the conversation that you and I were having a few minutes ago backstage about some of the things that you're doing. And let's talk
Yes.
about this. What is it? Certified human? I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Very excited about this. At Academy Voices and kind of all of us in general, but Academy Voices, I wanted to create something to where we can certify that you are actually listening to a human narrating it, a human has written it, a human has created it. And I kind of jokingly, last couple of weeks, I kind of say, gosh, I can't believe I have to say that out loud, but that's the world we live in right now, right? And I think it's going to become, this is just a prediction, I could be completely wrong. I mean, all this could blow up, I don't know, what I mean, AI could blow up and people could really reject it, although I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it's going to get even more. I'm not saying we won't be able to determine what's different, but I think that people in general, because I'm seeing it everywhere, we're just going to become more apathetic to it. Right? Like, because unless we stop using Google, unless we stop
Mhm,
using
mhm.
Microsoft, unless we stop using all of the YouTube, all these platforms that are pouring billions and trillions of dollars into AI and
Yeah.
all this stuff, it's not gonna stop.
I don't know about that. I don't know, I'm gonna be a little contrary because I do think that there's an element of AI, right? Especially when it comes to the internet, when it comes to research, when it comes to being able to sift through just the massive amount of information that we have access to as human beings. I think that's AI's biggest benefit to us, right? That's where it really does have a purpose that can be great. But I think, on the other hand, the general public is very aware of AI that is taking over human jobs and that is putting people out of work. And I think very distrusting
Well, I
of
was
what that
yeah.
means.
No, I was yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree with that. I was talking more about like video, like
Mm,
making video and using voiceover, right? So I
okay.
was talking more about like in writing and the creative process, right? The
Right.
creative process. I think like we're just, I mean, like, I don't know if you look, I mean, like you said, even the Super Bowl, I mean, it is
Hmm.
getting to the
Hmm.
point where I have a hard time now I'm like, that's not real. Or is that real?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
like, it's getting to the point where I don't know
Yeah.
a lot of times. And I hate that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, and then sometimes what's hard is, so like I can't tell, and it's funny because I can't remember who had said it. Oh, but some people, it was another voice actor or something saying like, people were getting accused of being AI just because they were maybe new and not that good at
Mm.
voiceover. Like it's become like a derogatory term in a way for some
Well,
people who are upset about it.
yeah.
And
I mean, like, look
yeah,
at YouTube now. There's a variety of YouTube creators that now have to have these it's like an AI tag on
yeah,
their videos, because basically YouTube is cracking down and they're like, look, if the video has been generated or created using large AI components, you have to disclose that to your audience. You can't make them
mhm,
think that this is real.
mhm,
And the reality is that the shorter the content, the better AI is,
right,
right? The
yeah.
longer it is, the worse it is. But yeah.
So anyway, so what we decided to do, or I decided to
Mm,
do, was to create a certification, a stamp even that
mhm.
you can get, well, that we will put on our work, and that you can sign basically a consent form that you agree that you are not going to perform, using AI. You're not
Mm,
going to clone your work, do things like that. And but it also clearly lays out in there what you were talking about. It does not mean that you can't research or
yeah,
be aware, use AI in some ways or form, but
sure.
it's all about it's all about our performances,
Yeah,
right? So verifying that this is human produced, human performed,
right.
created by humans.
Yeah.
And I feel, and I could be completely wrong because I know you, but I feel like going forward, this is going to be a really important thing for us, especially with the type of
It is.
content that we primarily do right now, which is archiving.
Mhm,
We do a lot of classic literature, do a
mhm.
lot of things, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just so I'm very excited about that. So basically what happens is, and now mind you, this is a big undertaking. It's very exciting, but it's a lot of work. So we are
How can people get in on it? How can they
so it just
participate? Yeah.
published today on Academy Voices, the page. Well, what happened is I had originally wanted to do this for our work, right?
Mhm,
That we're doing
mhm.
there, which we are doing. But then people
Right.
started coming to me and saying, listen, I want to put this on my website. I want this to be a part of my brand.
Yeah.
How can we do that? So I needed to build out a broader consent form, So basically what happens is you'll be able to go to Academy Voices. I just finished the consent form before we went live for that, so it's not up yet. But if you go to Academy Voices and you see in
Okay.
the upper ribbon, you'll see something that says certified human, and you can click on that and read what that means. And
I
then
love
on the
that.
bottom, there's a button that says join Academy Voices. I think there'll also be a button to sign the consent form.
Yeah.
And I just haven't put the consent form up for that yet. So,
Mhm.
but we can collect those. So basically, everyone through Academy Voices themselves will go back. And by the way, it's not retroactive. So I will go and contact, because this is something now, everybody who has worked through us has been vetted by me
Right.
because I've published every single one of the over 500 we've done personally.
Literally by
And
hand.
I know the people. I've spoken with, like,
Right.
they're real humans. But
Mhm.
I think it's going to be, I would like, more important to have, documentation that we've
Yeah.
all done it. I don't know. It's just something I feel passionate about.
I think it's true. I mean, and I think, again, it's about consumer choice and consumer awareness. Like, I've noticed even in retail, sometimes just now going shopping, going to different stores, my daughter and I are very aware of artwork that is
Mm,
clearly AI generated, right?
mhm.
And we're like, man, it's everywhere. And the question is, if the consumer knew,
Yes.
right, would they still buy it? Would they still make that choice? And we're kind of
So
thinking the answer is no.
speaking of that,
Mm,
I had early on, because I had not, I don't know, it was something that did fascinate me. One, two, I had not fully made a decision on how I wanted to move forward with our
mm,
artwork and our covers.
okay.
So I have used AI for the covers, and it's bothered me. It's
Yeah.
really bothered
Yeah.
me, just because it's internally there's a conflict there, and I would not like to do that. So I've decided to go back, and we're changing all our
Oh,
covers and
wow.
moving all of them. I created the design myself,
Wow.
put it together, and
That's a big
we've
undertaking.
shared. It is, and it's going to be over the next year or two, as we
Mhm.
have so many titles. But I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's bothered me for a while, and I know I've spoken about it. And I think I did it because I didn't at the time know how to do anything differently
Sure, sure,
to
sure.
scale at the way we were doing.
Mhm.
But and it's so interesting. Like, and I think this, just on a side note for our businesses and stuff too, it's important to move forward sometimes, even if you make mistakes, because as you make them, I think down the road, you'll look back and be like, oh, if only I had this
Yeah.
idea 2 years ago, it would have turned out. But that's okay. You have it now. Make the changes and move forward. So yeah, so we're doing that because, again, I want all of it to be all human, and not any of it. Just didn't seem right to have covers generated by AI. You know what I mean? When we don't, it doesn't need to be. It's all human. So yeah, that is what working on over Academy Voices. It's a
Wow.
lot. It's a lot.
But it should really have, I think, all voice actors thinking about that, about
Yes.
how do we, as individuals and as business owners, right? How do we push and promote that we are human
Mhm.
and, that there is no AI to be had in our
Right.
business? I think that that is super, super important. And
Yeah.
there's steps we can take, and they're not anything crazy, but I think making the statement helps to open the conversation and continue the conversation and gets people's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. And I, and again, who knows what the future will hold, but I
Mhm.
do think, again, for us at Academy Voices, the idea is, and of course we are expanding, right? Because we're
Mhm.
moving, as we've talked about here. But curating our work, being uh, protectors of human content, if you will. I don't know. It's kind of a passion of mine. It's funny because in college, I got big into history, children's literature, historical literature, especially geographical locations in the US, especially in different time periods, and what that storytelling and history involved. And it became real passion of mine because I love history, I love stories, and preserving those, because it's interesting, if you don't have a book like this, I mean, it's a broken up book, but if you don't have these things and they are not on a computer, they get lost forever. And I think audio is a new way to, or it's not a new way, it's been a way, because a lot of those stories from the Jack Tales and stuff were actually recorded on audio when they first came out with like a record and cassette player, stuff like, or a record player, excuse me, and they would phonograph record them. But a lot of these stories, I love the fact that we record them, and I don't know, protect them, save them on audio for the future.
I saw something really beautiful. It's a little off topic, but not exactly, because it's similar to that. So Will Smith has this new show that's on Nat Geo, I think, and anyway, it's one of the National Geographics, and it is a journey that he takes throughout the world. And one of the locations, he goes to this very, very remote island that, unfortunately, with sea levels rising, like, the island is disappearing. And he interacts with the locals, but he also meets a language archivist while he's there. And her entire job is to preserve a language that is dying, that no one speaks anymore. And she walks through the process of sitting down with some of the older people in the tribe who remember the language the way their parents spoke it. And she starts off with just very basic words. And she's saying that with that, and we can eventually potentially reconstruct the language otherwise. And I see it in a similar light. It's the preservation of humanity, because what are we without language? I mean, language is the very thing that sets us apart. And it's so wild that, as voice actors, here we are purveyors of language. We are purveyors of the language of our cultures, like, it's so important. And that piece, again, really needs to be talked about a lot more. And normally, I don't get political in my business, but on this front, I think we kind of have to. We kind of have to be bold about these statements, because otherwise, we do risk losing something really, really pivotal in history.
Yeah, I think and I don't know. I feel like there's been bipartisan support about preserving the creative aspect of what we're trying to do as humans. It's just everything moves at a glacial pace.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and in the meantime, a lot of harm, is done.
Yeah.
Because things are moved so slowly. But I mean, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
It needs to, it needs to happen. So we
really are, and I know you've said it before, we're archivists. And this puts us in a really, really interesting place in terms of how we interact with language and its evolution. And I just made a video not that long ago that I called the young girl's guide to voiceover. And the reason I did it that way is because one of the things that I've noticed, as many of us has, is how with the newest generation, language is evolving in a way that is really changing how we say words and how we pronounce things in English. And I wanted to kind of document those differences. And I mean, that's what we do. Like,
we do. And I not to get too deep, but I really do think we're at like a point in history where this will be a time where, we will look back and, there will be what is lost, what was maintained, what was, how did things change forever? I mean, if you think about I really do believe. I really again. I can be wrong. I really do believe this is one of the most significant things that's happened in human history. That's happening right now. I mean, you think about it. I mean, if you really think about what is changing, especially what's going to come out. I mean, if they really produce all these robots that they're going full in all over the place, that are going to replace, like, are going to be able doing jobs, like physical jobs, not just jobs online. And you're talking about just a whole new world. And if you really go down that rabbit hole, you start thinking, how are people going to make money?
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about, because before you could, for a while they were like, well, they're never going to replace plumbers, they're never going to replace people on working on the farm, they're never going to replace all these things. But with the stuff they're coming out, I mean, this stuff is, I don't know what our world will look like in 5 or 10 years.
I don't either. I mean, and look, it's interesting. Joy and Chastity are kind of having an interesting sub convo in the chat. And it was because Joy brought up that her husband was turned off by AI generated faith content. And I'm like, holy crap, you're going after preachers too? How does that work?
But think about this. I mean, you could have an AI preacher. You could have an AI teacher.
That's my point.
You can have, I mean, like, all this stuff could be taught by AI. I mean, you might go and listen to a sermon from an AI. It's very disturbing.
No, thank you. Yeah,
that's disturbing.
But that's so counter to the very to what faith is. It's a human experience for human beings.
Exactly.
Wild.
Exactly.
So wild.
And I think the overall thing is that we have to do things like, I think, what we're doing here, and we have to make sure that there is a line, a wall. There's something that you say, this is human, this is not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is an approximation. This is real. Because here's what's crazy. If you think about this, as more of this happens, all of us start to have, especially younger people, less and less real human interaction. And the less real human interaction you get, right, the more you start to lose the understanding of what's actually real and what's AI or what's not real, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, for example, if World War II, we're watching videos about World War II, none of us, I mean, at least you and I, we weren't there, right? All we have is what the videos show us that it was.
Right.
Okay. So if you take that on a larger scale about even going out places and interacting and going to locations, now all I am seeing is, all my reality is based off of what I see on a phone. That starts to get like, and then what AI starts telling me my reality is, and I believe it. All of a sudden, I don't really know what is real and what's not real anymore. Yeah, it's
scary,
crazy, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember that particular. I don't remember that particular one. I might have been getting some, like, in the kitchen or something, getting some chips. What was it? Joy was the faith-based one. I don't remember that one.
Yeah. It was so Joy and Chastity were having that conversation about the faith-based stuff. It's some interesting comments. Tomorrow. Oh no, we won't be here tomorrow. We'll be back Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll pick up.
Yeah, sorry, we went we went alone. But the overall thing today is we've created this certified human process certification from Academy Voices, and I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you check that out over Academy Voices. Join us there, VO Journey Academy, and we will be back on Wednesday. Angela's tomorrow, so check her out and talk to you guys then. Thanks, everybody. Bye.